Alright, this video is about a season and a time. It's a timeline prophecy Daniel talked about in Daniel 7:12. And let's see here. He talks about the rest of the beast, and they had their dominions taken away. It goes here, but yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. And that's what I'm going to show you. Now, what happens at the end of their time frame is right here, when the kingdoms of the world have become the kingdom of our Lord and his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. Okay, so at some point in time after this season and a time, it's going to change hands, but we're not going to be here when it does that. So let's get to all this good stuff here. And I'm going to go bye-bye for a little bit. Oh my gosh, I'm not here no more. So what we have here is the timeline when this stuff started. Now, most people, in fact, I don't really actually know anybody except me who's ever figured out what a season and a time is. I want to show you roughly what a season and a time is, and it starts here and it goes to 2036 AD. It's roughly a 2,500 year time period is what it is. This is when Jesus was crucified here. There's 1,000, there's 2,000s. It'll go past our 2024, 2029, and 2030, somewhere in that time frame. Will be the end of 2 days to God, and that's what Jesus said. And in 3 days, he will rise up his church. So you can't go from the time that Daniel was first given these prophecies, the 70-week thing, 490 years. You can't go by that starting at the wrong time, which would be at 0 AD, BC AD, right in there. You can't do that. It has to start from the time that Jesus became the Messiah, which was around 26 AD. So then you go back and you can see it begins around 463 BC. Going 2,500 years into the future takes us to 2036 AD. So you have Jesus crucified. Now this time in here is when he was preaching. He did this for about 3.5 years, 42 months, the first half of the 70th week. He confirmed the covenant with many on his death and resurrection. So from there you have a 1,000 year time frame, 1 day, and a 2,002 days, and then the second day is just about up. Now Jesus said, when all these things start to occur, he said this generation will see all these things. Well, if you take in the 40-year generation time frame, starting around in here, that's when these things start to begin. It takes us to 2070 AD, which, by the way, is 2 days after 70 AD, which would sit right in here, and those 2 days would move over, in which then he should start the millennium, somewhere in that time frame. Understand that the wrath is divided into 2 segments. And you have a first segment of wrath that starts whenever this will start after the abomination of desolation. The first segment starts, and then you have a time period in here. Let's see if I can pull this up and show you here. get the right one. Mm-hmm. Okay, so in Revelation 14, let's get me back in there. Hey, there I am. Okay, so what we have here is that Jesus returns to earth in 14:1, and there's no question he's standing on Mount Zion, okay? He's got the 144,000 with him. Now, what we have is, if you go down here, oh, what is it, verse 9? Anyone worships the beast in his image and receives his mark. That's a big no-no. But did you notice, how many of you have ever noticed this? Look at this. That takes place after Jesus is back on earth. So the mark of the beast has never been something that's going to happen now or going to show up now. The believers, the Christians, are not going to go through that. The chosen ones. But about halfway through this wrath period, okay, comes the mark of the beast, and blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Now they're called dead because they were here during the wrath, and they were not taken up before the wrath began. And they're called dead because their unbeliefs. They had no beliefs. But listen, so Jesus sets foot on Mount Zion. He sets foot, and then an angel starts flying in the midst of heaven, okay, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on earth and to every nation and tribe and everything. So during the first segment of wrath, the gospel is not going to be taught. It will be there, and people can look at it and say, wow, what did we do wrong? But it won't be taught until this angel shows up after Jesus here and starts teaching it again. And that's what will convince these people here to not accept the mark of the beast. So let me show you that on that time frame sits right in here. Comes after the first segment, and it comes before the second segment. Now, the second segment are the bowls and the wrath of God. The first segment's the wrath of Jesus. It's just you have two segments of wrath. The first segment starts in chapter 6 in Revelation, at the end of it. The second segment starts right at the end of chapter 14 and starts in 15 and goes from there and through the Battle of Armageddon and all that, and that's what the second segment is. Now, during this time frame, right in here, this we don't know how long this time frame is, okay? We don't know if it could be 5 years, 6 years, 10 years that this mark of the beast thing will go on. We don't know. But it's going to be set up in place, ready to go. But Jesus will be here when it starts off. But we don't know how long it'll be. But after that time frame is over, the resurrection of those who just rejected the mark of the beast is going to take place. That's why I said there's another resurrection. They will live and reign with Christ for 1,000 years. So it's important for those people at that time to understand that if they go through all that and they see everything that's happened, 1/3 of the population killed, everything like that, and Jesus shows up on Mount Zion, which totally does away with this fake Jesus that's being taught, they're going to learn. It's like, whoops, we made a mistake. And it's going to cost them their life. The good part is because they will live and reign with Christ during the millennium. They become part of the chosen. And but getting back to the prophecy now, well, as you can tell, this prophecy is fixing to end. It's coming up on its end here. We're in this area right here. So somewhere in the next few years, I would expect to start seeing things that might remind you or might make you think that some of this is about ready to take place. Well, I hope this video, I hope it has been helpful for you. Let me know what you think. Hope it's educational. Thank you for watching.